Grand rising, greetings, beloved. This is your brother Chief Flying Eagle, Ra Elohim. Man, let me tell y'all something. It literally took me about 48 to 72 hours. I had to meditate, go outside, ground my feet on the earth, and sun gaze. I literally just came from sun gazing and asking, the ancestors to open up my mind and, just give me the ability to articulate that information to the people. And once again, like I always tell people think I'm being cocky. I'm not. You will never hear anybody break down this information the way that I break down this information to you and articulate it in such a way so you get an understanding of what's truly going on. You feel me? Because the ancestors gave me the name Flying Eagle for a reason, to see things from a bird's eye perspective, from an eagle eye perspective, from a God perspective. And when you put on the mind of God, as in the term we think God means, I'm telling you, your mind is on a whole different level. So once again, here comes your brother breaking it down, because I hear everybody talking about DC, but do they really know what's going on? Everybody's in fear, everybody's in panic. Well, if you know what's truly going on, then you may know how to strategize and move a little better. And that's what your brother is here for. I keep telling y'all, I know how to restore my people. I was sent for that. I've been saying that since 2015, 2016. You dig? But people don't quite understand exactly what my purpose is. But like I told y'all before, the ancestors will reveal who I am soon enough. With that being said, I put a presentation together via a PowerPoint, and I'm going to break all of this down to you. Hopefully, when I'm done, you'll get a better understanding as to what's really taking place in Washington, D.C. and the continental United States. All right, let's get into this. The United States and the power shift in D.C. In understanding the corporate United States, the constitutional United States, and the moves happening in DC. That's what I base the PowerPoint on. Okay? My opening statements. Most people believe, and as you could see in the word believe, there's the word lie. That's the reason why I broke down the word, in its compound state. All right. Believe, B, okay, Lie, lie, VE, right? Because in the word believe is the word lie. So there's always deception in any form of belief. So most people believe the president of the United States leads the entire country. But in reality, in actuality, there are two United States and two very different presidential roles. Now, it doesn't mean that you have two different individuals. All it means is that this man or woman, okay, whomever the president of the United States is, they wear two hats and they switch up roles. Okay, I'm gonna give you another example. If you go to court, the magistrate does the same thing. If a straw man goes into court that needs representation, okay, the legal fiction, the all caps, then that's a role that magistrate plays. He puts on that hat to deal with that dead entity. If a living man or woman walks into that court, then that magistrate has to switch roles, because they're not dealing with a dead entity. They're dealing with a living man or woman. But it's the same magistrate. It's the same role the president plays, the yin and the yang, the good and the evil, the higher and the lower. You feel me? So in that sense, the United States Corporation is the evil version, okay? And the constitutional United States is the supposed good version. Remember, I told y'all in one of my last videos presentation, I went into Isaiah 45:7, when the Lord God said, I created good, I created evil, I created light, I created dark, is the same thing. Like I told y'all before, the game stays the same. The only thing that changes are the players. All right. So now that you get that, I hope you get it. Let us proceed. The constitutional United States, created by the Constitution of 1787. Now I'm going to pause here for a second. Most people may not be aware of 1787 and what transpired. But just in case you didn't know, let me put it in perspective. In 1786, okay, now I'm talking to the Moors now, all right? In 1786, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was signed with Morocco in 1786. It was specifically negotiated, all right, in Marrakesh and ratified by the U.S. Senate in 1787. All right. So it is pretty much historically, it is notably the treaty between the United States and an Arab Muslim nation. It was the first treaty between the United States and an Arab Muslim or African state. You feel me? So the treaty established diplomatic and commercial relations between the two nations, corporate nations, and remains the longest standing unbroken diplomatic relationship for the United States, period. What does that mean? Okay. And that's why you hear the Moors talk the way that they talk and tell you this is Morocco and this is Al Morocco, and no, it's not. That was a treaty between two corporate nations, okay, to do commerce, maritime law, literally taking away the sovereignty of the people and treating them as subjects of a corporation, okay, piracy laws, basically. So that's what that treaty meant, period. Okay? This was never North Africa. This has never been Africa. This will never be Africa. This has never been the empire of Morocco. All right? The Arab nation, the African nation, got in bed with the United States doing commerce, okay, and literally took away the sovereignty of the people. So that was signed in 1786, but ratified by the US government in 1787. You feel me? And as of today, stands as the longest unbroken treaty because they were the first one to acknowledge the United States as a nation. It wasn't a nation. You feel me? So I just wanted to put that in perspective. Let us proceed. So, created by the Constitution in 1787, made up of 50 sovereign states bound under federal compact. Even now, each state is still independent because they have their own governor, okay? And they have their own constitution. Keep that in mind. Federal government has limited enumerated powers. States retain sovereignty except where they delegated authority to the federal government. The corporate United States, defined in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, 10 miles square United States, D.C., which I explained earlier, includes the U.S. territories, Guam, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, etc., etc. Title 28, U.S. Code, Section 3002, 15A, defines the United States in a corporate territorial sense. Federal statutes expanded the corporate entity reach into the states. It wasn't laws, it was statutes, codes, and ordinances expanded the reach, okay, over the sovereign states. You feel me? That's why you have zip codes. They are federal territorial zones. You have an address. You have a social security number, okay, etc., etc. It puts everyone and everything within a federal zone, all right, under the jurisdiction of the corporation, if I may. Two presidential roles, like I explained earlier. The President of the United States, constitutional leader of the Union States, that's one hat. And then President of the United States, corporate CEO of the federal corporation, that's another hat. And that's why I tell people Donald Trump was the best man for the President of the United States corporate CEO, because he has been a businessman for a very long time. He knows about bankruptcy laws. So he's the perfect man for the corporation. He may not be the perfect man for the President of the United States, constitutional leader of the Union States, which people think are the same. But your brother, once more, is breaking this down like nobody else has ever done it for you. Okay? Each role has different jurisdictions and authority, just like how I explained with the magistrate in a court. Okay? That one man could play both roles. But what happens is the corporate aspect of that role always seems to take precedence. You feel me? Because it is for profit and not for the liberation of the people. The constitutional aspect is supposed to be for the liberation of the people. All right? Hope you're following me so far. Trump's alleged move in D.C. Reports of National Guard and activity focused in D.C. viewed through corporate lens, taking control of the corporation. If we are looking at it strictly from a corporate perspective, he's taking over the corporation. All right? Now, he could use the Constitution to redirect corporation powers, because the corporation cannot move on its own because it's a dead entity. However, he could use the constitutional powers, you feel me, to redirect the corporate powers. You dig? Potentially bypassing global banking control over DC, because the corporation has owners. The constitutional is not supposed to. In other words, it's supposed to be the republic, and the republic is for the people. So in a republic, the government works for the people. In the corporate United States, the people work for the government. They are subjects of the government. In a republic, the republic is subject to the people, to the will of the people. So when you hear people walking around telling the police and talking about, well, we're the public and you work for us and we are the bosses. No, you are not. In a corporate United States, you are not. The corporation is the boss and you are the slave. Now, in a constitutional republic, then you are the boss. You feel me? Good. Hope you're following me so far. Potentially bypassing global banking control over DC. So we are not quite sure the state of mind that Trump is in right now, which way he's going to sway, whether it's to bring full corporate control and take over the sovereignty of those states, or he's taking away the power from the bankers, the owners, and giving it back to the constitutional states. He's playing chess. All right. I have an idea what's going on, but I'm going to reserve that for a little later. Okay. Who owns the corporate United States? 1913 Federal Reserve Act. Bankers control the U.S. currency insurance. Okay. Issuance, pardon me. 1933 U.S. bankruptcy. Citizens turned into collateral. Corporate government operates in debt to global banking powers. That's why you, the all capital letters, you are a debtor. You are a slave on paper. In other words, you have to work and work and work and work and work like a hamster in a hamster's wheel to pay the debt, because you were used as collateral for the corporation in order to pay back the bankers. You feel me? All right, let's proceed. Why does this matter? Corporate versus constitutional precedent impacts jurisdiction. Control of the corporation affects the laws, rights, and sovereignty. For us indigenous people, we have to understand jurisdiction is very critical. I'm going to say that again. Control of the corporate affects laws, statutes, codes, ordinances, and sovereignty. For us original indigenous people, we have to understand jurisdiction is very, very critical. My closing call to action. Understand the chessboard. Okay, this is chess. Corporate versus constitutional United States. Recognize how moves in DC could reshape rights and freedoms. Stay informed, my people. I keep asking you to walk with your brother. I know how to restore our people. Know your status, correct your status, and act strategically because we are playing chess. Everybody running around here calling themselves Black African American, you're not playing chess. You're playing checkers. Everyone around here calling themselves Moors, they're playing checkers and they're playing chess because they could go either way. You feel me? And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So therefore, American Indians will always have the highest authority on these lands. You feel me? I hope you got the gist of this lesson. Now, when I talk about the Moors playing chess and checkers, they are literally playing both roles. Either way, you feel me? They know the game. So if Trump is taking over DC, the corporate aspect of things, and using the constitutional union to regulate, okay, and he could go either way, take control and make everything corporate because he's a corporate president, or he could be taking back the sovereignty of the land from the bankers and bringing back the republic because he's taking over the head corporation, which is within a 10-mile radius of DC. Now, what would that mean for the Moors? It would mean that, since the corporate United States was the one in control, it meant that the republic was not dominant. The republic went to sleep. As you could see, when you do the Pledge of Allegiance, you pledge allegiance to the United States, all right, and the republic for which it stands. But if you have the United States, where's the republic? So if you go back to years of my videos, I've always told you that things have to go in the reverse. The United States, after the United States fall, it will come back and bring back the republic. And don't get tricked, my people, because the republic is still not for us. It is not about us. They are still foreign entities operating on our organic, lawful, indigenous land. You feel me? So Trump could go both ways, or either or, not both, but either or. Okay, take control of the corporate and make the entire United States ignore the Constitution and then make it all corporate control. Or he could take it back from the bankers and give it back to the people, which would now reestablish the republic. How does that benefit the Moors? Because now the 1787 treaty will come back into effect. Because as of the United States Corporation, it wasn't in effect because it was only being dealt with from a corporate perspective. You feel me? So that's good for the Moors if they, meaning they, the US government, adhere to that treaty because it is still unbroken. You dig? But for us original indigenous people, let's not get fed into that. Remember, there was supposed to be 3 powers. I've been telling you this for years. I got receipts. It was supposed to be the Republic, our own government, as in the Iroquois Confederacy, okay, and the United States, where the Republic and the Confederacy was supposed to be doing business and using the United States as the corporate machine. You feel me? So we have to be very mindful and move strategically and not fall victim to either or, because they are playing chess. Like I told y'all before, you will be surprised to know that a lot of the people behind the scenes look just like you. So if the republic does come back, it would be a little bit better, yes, because more of the power are given to the people. But we still have that corporate faction of the country, all right, that may still want to control the people. You did. Bottom line is this: we American Indians, regardless of whoever comes in power, we have the highest authority on the land. All right. And like I told y'all before, I already have everything in place to restore our people. All right. So I hope this made sense. I hope you got the message. So all I'm doing right now is watching Trump move while I ask my people to walk with your brother. I know what to do. Enjoy the rest of your 24.